Sometimes you're just gonna get into a podcast that you rushed into the morning of New Year's Day, and you're not gonna have anything that you specifically want to talk about.
There's a ton to talk about. Good morning, Happy New Year.
Good morning, Happy New Year, everybody. If you're listening to this, Happy New Year. It should be happy.
364 days left of greatness you can achieve by yourself, with your friends and others, and also make 364 bad decisions every day. So, with that said, how come you're not at the Rose Parade in Pasadena?
I've never been to the Rose Parade. I've always wanted to go to the Rose Bowl to watch USC play, but just doesn't work out that way for me. No
Don't
one
you
really
think
cares.
It's kind of interesting how like Californians, native-born Californians, will not like really go out and go to like travel around the state? You know, go to Santa Barbara, go climb in the mountains in Big Bear, Mammoth, go to Yosemite National Forest, go to Joshua Tree. You know, go to maybe Disneyland, stuff like that. Not, you know, Universal, down by the beaches. A lot of people just stay in this one area. Especially if you're inland.
You don't think it's because we're very individualistic in the sense of like we have so much going on in our lives, we're not really going to get out and go deal with society or to deal with or hang out with people. I noticed a lot of people when I used to go to Lake Havasu with my grandpa when I was a lot younger. The people who used to come to Lake Havasu, well, yeah, there's plenty of people from California and whatnot, but it was from every other state. From Colorado, from New Mexico, from here. Like a lot more people travel from other states to where they want to go to. Like in Californians, I mean, I think we got it so good. We feel like we have everything like within our own neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. Like it's all there for us. Like if you have like a development somewhere, you basically have everything you need. You have every club, you have every movie, you have everything, and everything's kind of by everything. So it's like you don't really drive out farther than a couple of hours unless you're going to Vegas.
That is true. And a lot of people stop in Vegas and don't take those extra two hours to go to Zion in Utah.
Zion was Zion.
Zion is like, I would say probably top 5 mountain trails you could want to hike as a hiker.
Zion
National Forest.
Like the Jews, like it's a part of Israel or something like that.
Or something like that. The part of that. No, this is the Zion, Z-I-O-N. Mm-hmm. And if you like camping, you can camp there. You could drive there for a day. My family's a big camping adventure family. Yeah, they like doing that stuff. I know a lot of black people
black
like
family.
exactly.
Yeah,
we don't camp. We don't like sit there and set up a tent and then just watch the bugs crawl under our backs and stuff like that. You
still got your whole family. No one's gotten taken.
Everybody's fine.
Oh man, you are just not the stereotype at all.
No, we are not. We tend to leave over 10% tips with good service.
That would be a good thing to talk about. Stereotypes in okay, put it like this. Do you think stereotypes are accurate, effective, or true, or they shed some like light on a precursor to who that person might be? Like, what's your thought on stereotype?
So when we think about humor, what do we think about? Especially like minority humor. It's always about stereotypes. And why do we laugh? Because they're true. Half the time they're true. So when you listen to any of the stand-up comedians, especially the black ones, like who am I missing? Who's a
like
Red Fox? Right?
Patrice
O'Neal. Wasn't Red Fox a good one?
Which one's Red Fox?
Red Fox is like he's an old guy, he had a lot of.
You have like
Patrice O'Neal, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Patrice O'Neal, Gabriel Iglesias.
You have Chris Rock. You have Donald Glover, Childish Gambino when he did a stand-up.
George Lopez, and
they all talk about like the culture and what the stereotypical culture was, and whenever they talked about it, you would laugh because you're like, that shit's true, but it's a stereotype. It's what you get boxed in if you're this race or this part of the culture. And I don't know, is that offensive? Like, is the word stereotype, is it wrong because it's like it's so true that it hurts people because they get bundled into a group? Like, why is that such a wrong word?
I mean, I think it depends on the person, but society has made that word and any words associated to race and creed and then like religion maybe and sex is just, oh my God, you can't talk about it. We can't discuss anything. We can't joke about anything anymore. And it's kind of sad too, because like, you know, the reason I'm friends with a lot of people that are not black is because of humor, you know, and when I come into situations to diffuse situations, you know, I'll say a black joke or something like that, or I'll say something funny, especially working with people who are twice my age, who may have, they're grown up in different generations than me. You just come in there and you'll say something like, I don't know, it's very in the moment. Like I remember we talk about products that have different colors.
Yeah.
And so you're sitting, this is the first time I did that, and they were like, you know, we have bronze, we have Tucson tan, and then we have black. And I was like, yeah, we better have black. Stuff like that. Or so, you know, like, oh, why is black on back order? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or are we only doing, how come we're shipping in 3,000 bronze and we only shipping in 1,000 black?
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah, you're going with the population size.
Yeah, it was a joke, but, you know, bronze sells more. But anyway, I think that helps, you know, to make things, connect people, understand people's cultures. But, you know, then some people take it too far, like myself.
What do you take it too far? I think you take everything too far. But because
Did we already
black,
talk about that?
Yeah, but
your friend?
You know, black people get away with a lot more, like because that stereotypical, like that race car, like, all right, like they could say this joke and they can get away with it. They could say any racial joke. Black people they can say any type of racist joke and they get away with it. Like, if a white person was to say the N-word in a crowd, whatever, but if a black person, man, that cracker, all white people would be like, ho, 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 ho. He said cracker. Isn't that funny, Denise? You know?
You went with an Asian laugh and a white voice.
I don't know how white people laugh. I can't do it.
That's how it's done. But Russell Peters, we didn't talk about him. He's like, all his stand up is about like stereotypes, and he does a really good job about it, I think, especially like he touches every subject, and that's something that like Dave Chappelle would do, something Larry David, like my world idol, I'd say, like Larry David, man, if he could, I guess you sit there with a list of who he could offend, he's got them all checked, from people who are disabled.
Yeah.
People who have religious backgrounds, if you're a Muslim, if you're a Christian, if you're a Jew. I mean, he just hits them all on that show, Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is on its 9th season.
Well, see, some of the thing that I'm learning is I love stand-up comedy. Like, I would hope that I could do stand-up comedy, and like I
don't hope. Let's hear it now.
Well,
give me one.
No. I'm sure we've done this on the podcast, but we haven't released those episodes because they're bad quality at the time. But yeah, I am going to do stand-up comedy. I'm writing all my stuff down. I'm practicing in the car a little bit, but the first bit that I came up with was actually inspired by you, and it's the reason as to why black people are late all the time. So, you know, we had that. So everybody knows black people are always late, but now we're going to find out why on my stand-up comedy. And
is that what the show's called?
No.
The bit.
The 1 hour.
The bit or the whole?
So this is just a bit. So basically, what this stand-up comedy will be about is I'm gonna call it. It's not me, it's you. You know, it's not you, it's me. Like or it's not. Yeah, you get it. So it's not me, it's you. What you talking about? And I'm gonna go into all the different people in my life, like whether it be black, my mom, my dad, my girl, my brothers, and just people that I've dealt with, and like what I notice and what happens with my interactions with them and stuff like that. And so I'm actually really excited.
You should actually just film it. We should just get together, film it.
We are, but I got to still make the full thing, and I got to practice and work through it, and have. I would love to do an open mic, and you know, like if you could jump on a podcast, if you can have these long form conversations, if you can, you know, if I DJ, so I'm DJing on an upcoming date, and I got an MC. You know, now I got to be as vocal and as, hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you will direct your attention to the front of the door, we are going to welcome the bride and the groom, the bridal party, and you know, you got to like learn how to get your voice in. You got to learn how to be comfortable with yourself. You got to learn how to just absorb attention without letting it affect your next word and things like that. So yeah, hopefully within the end of this year, I'll have my full first stand-up 1 hour comedy, and that'll be made available on all platforms.
All platforms. So one of my questions I have for you, since you're a DJ, budding DJ, actually very famous in the city, what do you change your voice based on who you're serving, who your demographic is? Because you have, if you're dealing with, you know, a Caucasian crowd, you're dealing with a Latin crowd, a black crowd. Are you like, oh, my brother's coming down the aisle right now, make some room.
Look at my man over there.
Yeah, move over here. Yeah, you good? Come here. Do you do that, or is it just like, do you switch it up?
We talked about on another podcast how you always want to be 80% of yourself and 20% of the situation.
Oh,
so
good.
like you never want to be 100% you in any situation. How can you adapt if you're 100% you? Because 100% me is totally different than any person that this person or that person. Everybody knows different versions of you. Your mom knows a different version of you. You're the Christian guy when you go around your mom. Yeah, mom, I'm working really hard. You're away from your mom. You know damn well what you're doing. You're trying to get girls to the club a long time ago. You had your own little games and schemes. Then you go to the gym. You're totally different. You're serious. You're gonna fuck someone up if they move your towel while you go to get a drink of water and they take your gym spot. You know, they take your machine. Like there's different parts of you in every different scenario, and that's fine. You know, the important thing is you don't want to be a totally different person where you're 50%. You're not even trying to be yourself. You're trying to be what other people would like. And so as I step into these different platforms, you know, whether it be podcasting, DJing, whether it be the businesses I run, whether it be my girl and her friends or a different set of friends that I go to if I meet at a party, you know, I don't know, like it's all different. I'm taking 20% of my full self, putting it aside and saying, how can I adapt to the situation? So if I had an all black crowd at a comedy and I went in there, the first thing I would say in the room was, man, it'd be the wrong time to make a black joke. Wouldn't it be? You know, just get everybody a little loose, you know. You know, like, and black people have more of a looser of a tone. And I grew up, my best friend's black. My dad's best friend, I grew up with his son since birth. So I grew up basically kind of in a black family too. I would stay with them, Mrs. Garrett, always hanging out with them. They knew me. Whenever we would go pick up football games with all the family, I would be juking all the black people because I developed all the moves. You know what I mean? Like I was part black in my mind. I love black culture. I think black people have a brilliance about them that, you know, no other culture has been able to replicate, and I love it. And so, yeah, if I do different shows depending on certain crowds, I'm sure my vernacular is going to tailor. I'm sure it's like marketing. You tailor to your audience. You don't switch the product. You market the product a different way, right?
I like that. I like how you answered that. Speaking of culture, you heard about the term culture vulture?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
So first, for people that don't know, what would your definition of a culture vulture be? Because I have kind of like a general sense, but not like a thought about in depth.
I would think about something that's, you know, been predominantly known from a certain racial group or a certain group of people. I guess it doesn't have to be always about race, but a certain group of people, and they start implementing that in themselves and somehow become famous using that tactic.
That's cultural appropriation is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, you could say, yeah, same thing.
Okay, so for those that don't know what a culture vulture is or cultural appropriation, basically, let's say, we'll use Eminem as an example. So Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, they're these, you know, rappers, you want to classify as gangsters, you want to classify thugs, whatever their rap is. All of a sudden, Eminem comes in. He's a white boy. White people normally like to make music like Elton John. And so this white boy comes in, starts saying the N-word. He starts...
Did he say that?
I'm sure he said the N-word a couple times.
I don't know.
No? Okay, maybe I could be wrong.
See, I don't know about him.
But he starts making...
Fat Joe did.
He starts making music that's basically Dr. Dre's producing for him. He's making black music. And he's becoming big on it.
I see. This is the one. No, see, I think.
But that's what people.
This is a bad example.
No. But it's saying that's what. Okay, look, Macklemore. So Macklemore is making hip hop. He's getting big off of whatever it is. But people are saying because he's a white boy getting big, all of a sudden it's offensive because he's stealing their culture. And it's like,
I think there's two sides because I'm looking at Macklemore. I'm looking at Mac Miller. I'm looking at Eminem, and I'm like, okay, don't really see it. They're themselves.
Yeah.
That's who they are. But when I look at Post Malone, that's a little different. And that's this new argument now because Post Malone changed his hairstyle. He's kind of like in this whole culture, but I don't know where he grew up at. But we can say the same thing about Lil Pump.
Yeah. Gucci Gang. He's a white boy, right? He's just a white boy?
No, he's actually, I think he's Mexican.
Mexican?
He's got, his last name's Garcia, but I'm just maybe, just being
see, I've had this conversation with somebody before, and when you think of cultural appropriation, you think of black people did this. This is what they predominantly do. You're not allowed to steal the actions of another, which, okay, really think about it. If you're in America, considered the melting pot of all, not only is America its own culture, America has a million subcultures, and those subcultures live in subcultures of your community, your family, your friends, what your music you listen to. You know, not all black people are the same. Not all white people are the same. No one's ever the same. You step out of your tribe, you step out of your community, that community is entirely different in how they talk, what they laugh at. And so what is cultural appropriation? Because you have dreads and it's easier for you to have dreads because of your body type, your skin color, the way that your hair, you know, produces itself. Someone who's white isn't allowed to wear that? Why? Do you own that? Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
You have a trademark on a hairstyle. You have a trademark on you know, and I'm going into the stereotypes that black people generally have. So when what is her name? Kylie Jenner. Remember she did cornrows or something like that?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, that's messed up. You're culturally appropriating us, and it's like, well, who?
I'll give you a few more. Miley Cyrus with her twerking.
Yeah. Oh, she's twerking, and you know only black girls are allowed to shake their asses. And you have to go. Okay. Are you allowed to take something else, or is it because you're considered a minority that no one is allowed to do anything a minority owns? They feel like they own that's sacred to them, because you live in America. Everybody shares everything. And how do you own a hairstyle? How do you own a certain way that your lips or your butt or your actions are? You can't own that.
Iggy Azalea got a lot of flack for her new hairstyle.
What is that one?
But again, who's she dating, or who was she dating?
Yeah,
she was dating Nick Young, formerly with the Lakers. I started to think, is saying that someone is culturally appropriating like you, is that saying you're kind of racist? Now hear me out. Like, this is just a thought. You have to be the devil's advocate when it comes to certain things. So you got to open your mind. You got to say, let's really look at it. So Derek, you're black, and let's say that 80%.
80% black. What the hell else are you? What's 20%?
Well, it's a mix.
A mix of what?
There's like 1%.
What, you got whipped cream in the coffee? Just
it's the cherry on top. That's 3%. Yeah.
But okay, so you're black. Your girlfriend isn't. Your girl gets lip injections, and all of a sudden she just wants lip injections because she thinks she looks beautiful with bigger, juicier lips. Now, you naturally, in the stereotypical world, would have big lips. Your mom, your cousins, your family, your relatives, because you're black. Let's stop acting like that we don't know this shit. So boom, your
it's
girl
true.
gets
I've
it.
been made fun of for having big lips.
Jay-Z got some ugly ass big lips.
He got what?
Ugly ass big lips. He got ugly ass big lips. He got to put deodorant as chapstick on his lips and shit. So So what if a girl comes up to your cousin and goes, that's messed up. Why are you dating a girl that's not black? And then she gets her lips done. That's culturally appropriate. And you got to go, hold on. Why is that wrong? If we want to be included into the rest of the world, we say the whole world is racist, right? I'm saying like someone who's like, I want to watch myself here. Let's say they think that there's racism in every platform. People don't want to be inclusive to the black culture. And then so someone gets big lips, and it's, why is that culturally appropriating? You don't want someone to be a part of your culture? Why? Is that racism right there? It's saying that you're culturally appropriate. Is that saying that you're racist to some degree because you don't want this other, what you call race, to be a part of you? Is that racism? Because you have to think. I guess it would define what your idea is of racism, your definition, but not allowing someone else to partake in your culture. Yeah. That's racist.
I think it's the opposite of racism, because they're actually embracing your culture.
They're embracing. They're saying, and if this is beautiful. Now, the idea of cultural appropriation, though, is Kylie Jenner is allowed to do cornrows. It looks beautiful on her, but if a black man does it or a black woman does it, it's looked at as ugh. So that would be the idea. I get it, but myself, I don't see it. But I'm Mexican. You know what I mean? I don't see the struggles of a black person. I have different experiences, just like a black person or a white person or Asian or Puerto Rican has totally different experiences as they grow up in their life. So I speak only from my experiences, and I say, if you're mad someone wants to do something that you're doing, that's actually they're embracing. They're actually really embracing, and depending on how you look at it, I mean, maybe they're shunning you for you doing the same exact thing, but
I never heard of this, honestly, until I was talking to some people, and sometimes it's a topic that trends on Twitter. So it's like, I've never would have thought of it, honestly. You never would have thought of it until someone actually tries to make it an issue. But we could also go outside the black race and look at, well, I guess we could stay in there with Drake and the Jamaican music. Oh, I'm kind of using their style now. And Chris Brown has a song that does the same thing.
He's and so think about that. They're black, but they're taking from different cultures. It has nothing to do with just being black. It has to do with cultures. That's what stereotype is not. It's not on your skin color. It's off of your culture. That's what being prejudiced is. It's on your culture.
What about that Louis Fonsi song with Beyonce?
Oh, Despacito?
The remix. No, not that one. Dun, 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 dun. And she's singing on the Mexican music, sorry, she's speaking Spanish.
So she's speaking Spanish.
She's speaking Spanish, yeah.
So would Beyonce be considered to be culturally appropriating the Latin genre when it's is that cultural appropriation, or when she did the remix to Perfect from Ed Sheeran, or how do you say his last name? Ed Sheeran, and so she redid the song as a duet with Ed Sheeran, and when I heard it, I go, Beyonce, why? You
didn't like it?
I didn't really care for it. To be honest, I thought Ed Sheeran did such a great job. I love that song with all my heart, and I sing it to my girl all the time. And then when Beyonce got it, I was like,
is that a good song to sing to her?
Oh yeah.
I'll get it after the show closes. Yeah. But to continue on, the song that Beyonce, what I'm talking about, is the Louis Fonsi song. It's called My Gente.
Mi Gente.
Mi Gente.
Oh, yeah.
That song.
Okay.
And Justin Bieber did the same thing with Despacito remix. I know a ton of people who hate him on it, but I was like, sounded fine to me. But again, I'm not
You're
a Latin
not a part
American.
of that race. And I've never once said someone's culturally appropriating me. And it's not like I don't want to just throw it under the bus and say you're wrong if you feel like...
Or he's Puerto Rican, actually, right? Louis Fonsi.
Yeah, Puerto Rico. Yeah, he said that in the song, yeah.
I mean, if he's not, he could be culture appropriating.
But I don't want to just sweep it under the rug and say, if you say someone's culturally appropriating, you're racist, because you don't want to let them and be inclusive the way that you're saying other people aren't being inclusive for your culture, your race. It's a very delicate matter, and I think it just has to do with your experiences in life that, like I said, the idea of cultural appropriation is another race is allowed to do what you're doing, but when you do it, it's looked at as disgusting or uncool, unpopular, dirty, whatever the adjective would be. That's how the other culture is looking at you as. And so I've never really seen it, but then again, I don't live the life of someone who is a minority. Yes, I'm full-blown Mexican, full-blown, but I also grew up in high school and college with every other minority. And I know a lot of white people, and I think I just get along. As with you, you're black, and you get along with white people like no other, right?
Yeah, I probably get along with them better than I should. But it's also the environment that I was raised in. I went to a private school, so I was around multicultural people every day, and so I'm Indians, Asians, everybody, Greeks. It was pretty amazing. So now when you walk into situations, you just treat people who they are, trying to learn from them. I try to speak a little bit of Arabic when I'm around somebody who's Palestinian or something like that.
Yeah.
I try to say something and understand their race and get to know each other instead of being like, oh my God, bombs. It's kind of retarded after you graduate. After you graduate middle school, high school, you should be getting a little smarter.
You know who I never hear this stuff from? People who were born in a multicultural area. People, and let's go back to the black example. If they were raised in a poor community or Section 8 or their odds were stacked against them the minute they were born. I hear that coming from that type of community. And I'm not trying to say this is wrong. All communities who are vetted in their own, that's all that they see is their own race, their own culture. they feel, and I'm noticing this as I think about it, maybe they might feel like, oh, this is all I ever see. All I ever see is this black culture. I look out into this vast world of a million different, ideas, theories, assumptions, and I see that everybody wants to jock our stuff. Eminem wants to be us. Post Malone wants to be us. But it's like, well, what if Post Malone grew up with white people, Mexicans, and black people, and rap music just is predominantly black, but they were brought into it and they grew up into it and they loved it. They listened to it because Post Malone actually listens to rock music. He's like, yeah, I like to make hip hop, but I listen to all other music when I'm not making rap music.
A lot of people do. And you'll hear artists when they talk about who are my influences, you'll never know.
You ever notice every like Dr. Dre, all the prominent rappers right now that's not like 21 Savage, not the new upcomers, they all say, oh man, I listen to Coldplay, I listen to these guys. They all listen to all white people. And all the white artists listen to black people. And it's like I'm saying, if you're nothing but around white people, but you're white, and then you meet a black person, you have a preconceived notion of what a black person is from music, from these different things. So like when I hear of music, I don't look at black people and go, oh yeah, that's only black people do this shit. I mean, yeah, some things we do, or only Mexicans do that shit. That shit is spice eye. You know what I mean? Like we know damn well what we say. Everybody listening to this, stop trying to act like you're holier than thou. Okay, I'm a Christian. Yes, I treat everybody as fair as possibly can be, and I lay down my life. I lay down my assumptions. I laid everything down before I meet somebody, and I'm open and I'm charismatic. I'm caring and I'm loving like you would never believe. But let's stop being sensitive. You know damn well like the example. I used to go to a hyperbaric oxygen therapy with my friend John, and we both had some physical issues at the time, so it was helping us heal up, and it was his turn to drive. And so he's like, I got to get gas first. He's black. He's as black as they come. I mean, he's
so when he got gas, did he go and get like 2 gallons, 3 gallons?
yeah. And so he's that black guy, and me and my dad did a study on the freeway when I was a little boy. He goes, look, mijo, black people don't ever roll the window up and turn the air conditioner on. Look, 9 out of 10 black people. And so what did we do? We counted out of every 10 cars, only one black person had their air conditioner on. Black people don't turn the air conditioner on. If you're black, you just laugh because you know damn well it's true. So it was summer. Guess what? He had the windows rolled up, no air conditioner on though. He didn't even want to roll the windows down. He said it was too much work.
It's too much work.
And so we get to the gas station.
The manual? You had to...
Yeah, so we get to the gas station, and he starts pumping his gas. Only puts like $10 in. He starts pumping his gas, and all of a sudden he gets in the car, closes the door, and locks it while the gas is pumping. I'm all, "What's up, John? What are you doing?" And then you see 3 black guys walk by the car, and he locked it right as they were walking by. And I was like, John, you can't do that. He goes, I don't trust them M words.
John pretty old school. Is he from here, this area?
Yeah, he's from the
California?
San Bernardino, Southern Cal area.
So he's not from the South or anything.
No, so like...
that's funny.
Is it racist if he does it as opposed to if I were to do it? And it's like, no. You see somebody with a certain set of clothing that might walk a particular way that's abiding to a culture. Now, race is not culture. There's a million cultures within one race of skin color. So there's a gangster race. There's the people who went to college. They're all different cultures. Why is it offensive to say they're different than the other person? It's not. Stop being a little punk and be real about what this world is. I'm different than you, Derek. The way I speak is totally different. We have so much common traits, though, you might not notice. But when we get into this room, I notice the differences between you and I. I don't do as well in the club as you do, in terms of speaking to just different people or having that electric personality. Is it offensive to say that I'm more to myself and you're open as a human being? No. Stop being a baby and acting like we can't say that there's differences. Mm-hmm. And... with cultures, there's a million differences. You know, like I don't like the Mexican culture, and it's not saying I think it's
so funny because I actually enjoy that.
Really?
When I go down to Mezcal and they start playing, you know, all the bachata music or the banda.
And it's not saying I hate it, like it's so despicable. I'm saying I'm Mexican. I'm like, well, just give me a michelada and stop talking Spanish to me because I don't understand it. Because every time I try to talk Spanish to a Spanish speaking person, I get locked up, like because they get excited. Mexicans get excited when they hear someone speak Spanish because not too many people do.
Yeah.
So when they feel like someone's able to have a conversation, I'm like, oh, okay. No hablo inglés. You don't know English? I mean, I don't know anymore. I'm just lost. Yeah, like I lock up. And so like, I love the culture. I love the culture in the sense of the food, the parties, but like the music, get that shit out of here.
No, man, you missed it out. The music is awesome. Music is awesome. Yeah.
Okay, but I do love some Spanish. Remember, I DJ, like, play La Señorita Dinamita, I'll be play Suavemente, play all that. I love the music. I just think there's certain things I'm like, yeah, I could do without a soccer jersey wearing that to court date. You know, I could do without that, and you know, just crazy things but that's not just Mexican culture. That's Latin culture and Latin America, and you get into that. So that's a massive culture itself.
I think when you're up and coming and you can see the success you'll have by I dare I say cultural appropriating. But when you understand someone's culture and you're out, like, man, I just love going out to the club when I was, I guess, a couple years ago. At Mezcal or something like that, and you're there and you're spinning and you're doing it, and everybody else looking at you and be like, man, this black guy can do this. Like we need to improve ourselves, man. We need to stop this from happening. But it was awesome. It was awesome. But I also want to talk about that.
What?
You recently went out to the club.
Yeah, so it was
like you've been banned for 2 years, or was it a personal ban, or was it a security ban?
Let's get into the context of today. Of that day. So it was my girl's birthday. Her birthday is on the 29th of December. She's never really, according to her, according to legend, never really had a full complete birthday as some of us might have because we're in April or whatever month. It always has to share presents, always has to share with that Christmas day. So, you know, I decided to throw a little something at the house for her with a nice cake, just some balloons, just some decorations, because I knew we were all going to go to the club. You came with a couple other people. And so upon arriving at the club, you know, like, it's her birthday. The last thing I want to do is be intrusive because, one, there's guys and girls that know her, and I know them, and I know that they know her. So,
but what were you thinking? Give us a breakdown. You walk up, you're at the gate, the entrance gate, you're sitting there. What's going through your mind?
If she hugs somebody, she gonna die.
No. Did you want to leave?
No, actually, no. This is the first time I was excited. For those of you that don't know, like I've DJ'd the clubs before. I used to be a club person. It's just not my style. I mean, that's just me speaking honestly. It's not my style. DJs have a very different mixing style and scratching style in there that's not me. Like the DJs, they did a great job. They really did a great job. Within every 30 seconds, they were mixing. That's a different style of mixing that I'm not afraid to say I don't know how to do, because that's not how I taught myself. That's not how I learned. That's not my style. That's not what I like. It's like if a rapper's great at freestyling, but Drake's good at making melodies and things like that, I'm the Drake. These persons are lyricists and they know what the hell they're doing. It's different. Just depends on what you like. So I kind of stepped out of the club scene just because I don't really like the politics and a number of things. And I don't like being at the club.
But being back, did you miss it?
No.
Yeah, those memories?
The reason I like the club is when I go with people that I know. Like I went with a group of people. I went with my girl. And like I didn't really... we danced a little bit in here and there, but I let her be. She danced with her girls. You know, we had free bottle service. Everything was free. Everybody that she knows, like...
Alcohol free?
We're giving her shots and like I just wanted her to enjoy herself. It's not about me. There was you would come up to me at the club and you go, hey man, if someone tries to dance with your girl, you better go push them out, go grab your girl by the ass and
I didn't
let her know
that was
what's
your
up.
friend. That was your friend.
Who?
That was Billy.
Billy said that?
Yeah.
And so
I would never say that. Do you think that comes from me? You don't push someone out the way.
That was you.
No.
You say you don't let these dudes come up to her.
There's two things that you can do in a situation. You can let it be if you trust your significant other or whoever you're dating at the time.
Yeah.
But if it's a new relationship or it's you're tested and you want to tell her that, hey, I got your back.
Yeah.
I'm the alpha male here. I can protect you.
Yeah.
if needed, you go up and say, if some dude's trying to talk to her and then he's not like respecting her, you're like, hey man, this one's with me. Have a nice night. That's it.
Yeah,
and then that's it. And then she's like, oh my God, he's so strong.
Like, I'm not insecure about any of that. Like, I think in my previous relationship I might have been, but that's a totally different person who makes you feel a different way when they.
That was because she was stronger than you.
But you know, like some guys try to talk to her, and I would just look and go, oh, whatever, and she would just reject.
Should be
them.
the greatest feeling ever, because you'd be like, man, everybody wants this one, and I got the
last. Oh yeah, that is.
I got the last one on the market.
And
I got the last one on the store.
You know, like there was even club promoters. I knew who they are, and like they happen to actually know her like quite well from maybe being friends for a lot, whatever it may be. They talked, and like I'm not gonna get mad that he might like lean in and say something in her ear, and she like, oh yeah, like they're people that they know. There's a difference between like cheating and being insecure to. Why are you going to go interrupt that conversation and be with your insecurity? That's going to not only ruin your whole night, it's going to damage your relationship. You got to learn when to let people live. Like, I am a very open person when it comes to communication. So my girl and my previous and whoever I've dated, they have a problem understanding in the beginning I have female friends. And they're not, like, I have a friend. She's slightly attractive, has a nice body.
She'll never make it on the podcast to use that word again.
but like she has a nice body, and I've known her for 7 years. Never once have we done anything come close to it. I've been alone with her in a room while we studied before, and I'm open with this stuff with my girl. We've been in a million situations where if something was going to happen, it would have happened, and it's like. No, I'm very open, and when it comes to females, that sounds like such a bad thing. When it comes to women today, I like to talk. I would love to have women on the podcast, whether they be pretty, ugly, fat, skinny, smart, dumb, whatever those attributes are. She's finally understanding. Oh,
probably not dumb.
Yeah, probably not dumb. Can't have anybody dumb on here, but she's understanding. Oh. You're someone that needs communication just to have a good time. Like, you're not trying to get with anybody. You love to open minds. You love to hear people's thoughts. You love to see what the other side is. And so
it's also finding secure opposite.
What's that?
A secure other, a secure person, a secure and insecure person, not a secure and insecure person.
Yeah.
Because if you had an insecure person and they were like, oh my God, I don't want him talking to anybody else because I'm inferior. I feel that I have something that I can't offer him.
Yeah.
And you should already, whatever you look like, you should just be comfortable with.
Yeah. So in the club, there's only one, and I had this conversation where she got like a little bit too, because you, Mr. Chandler. I went to go take our friend out to get some breather because he was acting the fool.
I'll speak on that too.
And he was about to throw up, and so I come back in, and like I guess you guys are all having fun, you and your girl, and then all I see is a Snapchat of you putting the biggest shot in her mouth, and I'm like, this asshole right here. No wonder she was all messed up.
Was she messed up?
She was messed up, and so like at the end of the night, she ended up just hanging out in the DJ booth with her girls, and like. She wasn't doing anything wrong. She was just having a good time. And like,
it's nice.
That was the only time I felt like, okay, I feel a little bit insecure.
Why? Because you can't get up there?
I used to be the DJ, the main, the headline.
With everybody else around you?
Yeah. So like, it was
What's this button do?
No, it was just because I was alone. And like, you had left, her friends have left, some of her friends, and it was just her and two of her girls or whatever. And so that was the first time I was like, all right, I kind of feel a little insecure. I'm not going to ruin her night though. She's just having fun. She's literally just having fun. She doesn't, you know what I mean? You got to pick your fights when it comes to your insecurities. And so like, there's been a couple of times in our relationship, she sees me talking to a girl, and like, I could tell it's like getting at her. Like, but it's like in a situation, not a context, like she sees me DMing or, you know what I mean? It's like we're in a group of something. She sees me giving more attention to this girl, but I'm just having a simple conversation. But now, like, I understand, like, oh, she's literally just having a good time. Can I penalize someone for being themselves just because there's another sex attached to this good time? Does it mean that that's cheating? No. Your insecurity will make it cheating or make it not cheating. And like, when I logically think about things, I'm like, oh, the minute we got out of the club, you're everything that I want. Oh my gosh, I need you. And da-da-da. It's like, okay, she's drunk and she is letting me know right here. You know what I mean? She's giving me the affirmations of whatever my love language is right now. So for people that like, you might find that insecurity, you got to learn when is the right time to project that insecurity. Because the wrong time will have you really messed up.
Yeah. So I'd say one, man, you showing up to the club with your friend, he's already drunk. Kick him out. Get him out of there, man.
So my friend,
I wouldn't have left the table to take care of him, man. You ain't his dad.
Nah.
Leave him be. Let security kick him out.
Nah, man. So
I'm like, who's this guy in our booth? Get him out of here. He ain't gonna remember.
Well, see, me and my friends, drinking is not our forte. I rarely drink because I have health conditions and whatnot. I've messed up this entire December. Today starts the fresh new year, and I've already made the adequate changes to make sure I don't mess up on diet. Excuse me. I don't mess up on diet. And so my friend, I didn't know he had come from a company like Shindig and was having alcohol already. And he normally is good about only one or two. You could drive off of one and two after a couple hours, you know. He gets here and I notice he's acting like a little bit powerful with his actions and at the house before we leave. And then we're in the car and, you know, if the cops are listening, we were drinking in the car, what you gonna do? No, I wasn't drinking. I didn't have one drink until we got to the bar, to the club. But as soon as we got there, I was like, oh shit, he's already gone. And so I kind of ate it into it because we're at the bar. And one of her friends, he's a really good guy, but he's like 30 something, I think. So he's had time to develop his money. He very wealthy dude, you know. He's a sweetheart though. I trust him with my.
He gave the bar guy $20.
Yeah,
and the guy was like, face dropped, his eyes swelled up, and he was like, "Oh my god!" Like
this guy, he's a sweetheart. It's one of her best friends. Like I have a female best friend. She has her male best friend. Like I know him, sweetheart. Me and him get along very well. I mean, that's part of being secure with yourself. And so he's got money. Hey, he got more money than me. Whatever it is, I don't care.
Pay, man.
Hey, you want to buy the drinks? Go ahead.
Try to go to dinner tonight.
My friend sees this and he's like, "Who's this guy buying a list of drinks?" Oh shit! I'm not supposed to say the name. Damn it.
You can blank it out. You can blank it out.
Who's this guy buying your girl drinks? Who's this guy? And he's like wanting to fight, kind of. I'm like, you need to stop. Like, I'm totally fine with him buying drinks because I ain't trying to buy a drink. You know what I mean? And so he goes, you know what? I'm the wealthiest person. I got the most money up in this. And I'm like, hey, why don't you whip up that credit card and get me a vodka Red Bull and get Alyssa a drink too? Oh, I'll get one. Again. So I used it against, and then he ended up buying you a drink, I think.
He bought me one, asked me for another one. I had to give mine away because I was driving. I only wanted one. That was it. But he was out of control, man. If you're coming up, you're going out in the bars, only go out with people who you can trust and have your back. And you know how to test them is going to house parties and see how they do there. If they do good at the house party, then you move them to the bar. If they do good at the bar, then now we can go further out.
Yeah.
We can go spend a night in a hotel. Those are some of the things that, you know, I've learned. But man, I was betting money that he was gonna get in a fight.
Well, see, you've known this guy for a long ass time. He's never done anything like this.
No, but you can tell how people just within 10 seconds of their actions, you can tell that they're going to get so inebriated they're not going to be able to walk.
Yeah.
And they're going to be messed up in the morning. We were arguing. We were like, let's go just do chest tomorrow at the gym. He was like,
at the club talking about hitting chest at the gym?
Yeah, it's like tomorrow, let's go, because I need a spotter. I was like, let's go at 7:30 or 8. And he was like, I'll be there. And I was like, you going to text me at 7:30? I was like, he didn't text me. So I texted him at 7:30 or 8. And he was like, oh, bro, I'm so drunk. I'm so sorry, man. Maybe in a few hours. I was like, I knew it. I was like.
No, but he's never displayed that. And we had a long talk with him about like, hey, look, like, you didn't literally do anything wrong. Like,
yeah, he did. He drank too much.
Okay. But like, there's a difference between being annoying or being like out of character and actually starting a problem.
I think he was annoying because you left for a long time.
Oh yeah, because his wife had to come get him.
Yeah, and
so like
your situation was missing you. They were like, "Can you get Derek for me? Can you bring him back? Where is he? He's supposed to be here celebrating me." And I was like, "Oh, he's playing Mr. Fix Every Situation right now. Got to play doctor outside." And I was like, "Just leave him."
But I'm not gonna do that to somebody. He was belligerent. He just sat on the curb outside, and like the bouncer was like, I was like, "Look, man, he's not a bad dude. He's just drunk. Let him sit there. I'll get him a water, man. Don't even trip." And the bouncer was really cool. And then I was just talking to the bouncer a little bit, and then I was texting his wife. That's why I was out there, because I was making sure he got to his pregnant wife. And like, he never does this type of thing. So like, it's like, you just acted a fool for a little bit. We get it. You made a mistake. And it's okay to make mistakes. You know what I mean? Nothing bad happened out of it. It was just a little like, oh, you're annoying. Like, nah, you know what I mean? Kind of. He stopped after his wife texted him, and she wasn't mad he came. She was just mad he got all messed up. And so when she picked him up, I was like, hey, thank you for picking him up. And then she didn't say anything, so I closed the door and I was like, and then I ended up picking him up to take him to his car the next morning. And he's like, no, she's not mad. She's disappointed. And I was like, oh, man.
That's even worse.
But no, I'm not going to I wouldn't let you sit out there. I
would never be out there.
I know.
I never liked that.
But I mean, we all had a good time.
Yeah, no, it was fun. But I'll give you a few other tips too. When you're by yourself in the club, and I used to show up, solo dolo.
Yeah.
And our riding solo, like that song, riding solo. Yeah, so old. But anyway, you this is what you do. You try to not drink because you're trying to change your personality.
Yeah.
You're trying to become someone else through alcohol, and that's what you shouldn't do. I think social situations are great, but when you're solo, you should try to just have fun, be yourself, try to dance to the music, try to meet other people. That's the key part, meet other people. And you know how you start meeting other people?
Yeah.
You don't know? Start talking to the people you do know, or you could be comfortable with, like the bartender, the bouncers.
Yeah.
Maybe getting there with the DJ if it's early. And then you start seeing people, oh, hey, man, they got a hat on that you like, or they got whatever. And then you might see a girl and be like, oh, hey,
Yeah.
What song did you pick? Or something like that. I don't know. Like,
I just think it was like everybody had left. It was just her and her little, like, two girlfriends or whatever. And like, she just left. It was only like for like 20, 25 minutes.
It's not that long, man. You go outside.
Yeah,
hang out.
And it was just like I'm not used to that environment anymore, and it was just like, okay, I have two choices.
Offer value. You should, number one, offer value, or another one, take value and be miserable.
Yeah, so that was my. I'm telling you, it's not a big deal. It's not. In the moment, you start getting these feelings like, why is she having so much fun for? And it's just like, okay, do a spot check, Derek. What are you really feeling right now? What are you really mad about? That she's having a good time. It's her birthday. You told her you wanted her to have a good time. So now that she's having a good time, she's laughing. She's not really violating any rules or breaking any connections with you. Why are you really getting mad? Is it your insecurity that's playing? Like a guy leaned in and said happy birthday to her. Is that really bad? Are you really going to F up the whole night?
Yeah. See, so, I don't know.
Because I did this. So what I didn't mention is there's a guy she knows I know her cousin. I always see her cousin. That's his best friend. And so he's not like the most attractive, handsome. He's just a dude. And so he happened to be there with his friends. And so I was just doing my thing, and I saw he was like just kind of doing a little 1-2 step, Will Smith on Hitch, not being violating. But I was like, no, I'm tired of this shit. And so I went and I grabbed her and I pulled her away. And he's like, oh, bro, I'm sorry. He knows who I am. I didn't know who he was. And so she goes, hey, that's my friend, da-da-da. And I've heard him before. And I've heard her cousin say it. And I was like,
I feel bad, see?
And I was like,
dude, like,
and then he goes, hey, no disrespect, bro. I know her. I've known her my whole life since we were little.
You should square up and say, USC, dog. You a Trojan?
he goes like, I've known her my whole life since we were little kids. And I go, and she told me, yeah, that's my friend. That's Blank's cousin. That's Blank's best friend. I go, my bad, man. Like, I didn't know who you were. Could you just forgive me, bro? Just forgive me. Hey, it's the club. I don't want to start no problem. No, that's my fault. And then within 10 seconds, it was like, what's your name? Oh, I'm Derek. Oh, it's nice to meet you, And I was just like, shit.
Don't you feel bad?
I felt bad, and I was like, okay, check yourself. Like, don't let this shit happen again. Let the one time happen, but you need to learn.
Dude, this is what I think about, man. Look, if you show up with a baddie, check what you did. That's facts.
Yeah.
Did you leave with a baddie?
I left with her.
Facts. That's all you got to get to. Don't worry about anything else that happens, because this is what they're doing. They're offering her value. They're pumping up her energy. They're pumping up her state. And what do you do when you get home? You don't have to do nothing.
They did all the hard work for him.
They do all the easy work, man.
They made her have all the fun.
That's exactly what I've been trying to say for years to people, that like, this is what happens. If someone's like, if I go to the a club or something like that, an event, a lot of people, I'm like, hey, I'm with a girl. I'm like, hey, go get some drinks. Make sure you get 2. Bring 1 back for me, and go back again, get a couple other ones. And I used to do this too with other people. We weren't even together, but they were just rounding out. How many drinks can we get for free tonight? And it was just sad seeing the guy just pull out the credit card, just swipe it, and she's like, "Nice to meet you," or "I gotta get to the restroom now. I'm going to get back to my friends," or "We gotta leave."
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Brush on the shoulder, slight hug. Bye. Thanks for $30.
Yeah.
Like it's just so funny, and it's and so yeah, don't let that happen again. And even if that guy was really trying to talk to her, if everything is good with you and your girl, you're fine. If she were to do something like, "Oh, hey, I here, get my number," well, that's it, man. You should just end it right there and be like,
yeah.
I don't
And
need you.
she never once had her phone out to get a number.
No. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
you should be it's black and white. It's either like, hey, she knows she's mine or she's with me.
Yeah.
And if she wants to do something else, you're in the club, man. You can go get someone else. That's what I'm saying.
And for the most part, 85% secure with myself. That 15% was trying to take over, and then I had to think while I was sitting down, and she was just having a good time. She's not violating anything. I had to think, okay, she sees me talk to a lot of girls, like for getting them on the podcast soon, for whatever it is. I have a number of businesses in my family. Every person that works for us is a woman. And so my phone constantly blows up. What girlfriend is it this time, huh? It's this one. And so like I joke with her, but like there's full transparency and everything. So
you
I'm
should
like,
say she tried to take the day off. I don't know. She didn't ask me if we going downtown or something like that. She tried to get a hotel. Nah, that's probably too much.
Everything was. I checked myself really fast. And so, fellas, ladies, you gotta learn how to be secure with yourself. You gotta. There's other people in this world that want to have conversation, that want to have a good time. You can't just like. You can only dance with me. You can't. You can't let any guy touch you tonight.
But the real subject is we're not answering is like, well, what if they've been cheated on or something like that? Some situation that happened. Well, now I can't trust anybody anymore. Now I have no trust.
Yeah, that was happened with me. I mean, in the previous relationship I was in, I was scarred from that. And it's like, okay, this girl is entirely different and every person's entirely different from the next. But how we talked about in the last podcast, better for me. This girl is better for me, better in this way, maximizes my utility as a human being. Appreciate that. Learn how to deal with certain things. We don't ever go to the club. We go to the club. This is the first time we ever went to the club together. This has happened to be our birthday.
Well, we should go again if there's free tables.
Shoot, if there's free tables, we can go all the time.
She thought it was Craigslist with all these free tables.
Just you're not allowed to have a bottle in your hand because you end up doing a waterfall shot into my girl's mouth. You crazy, man.
That's what I told her. I was like, she messed up because she didn't want to do it twice because she messed up the first time. I was like, let's get it right. This is my Instagram promotion for her. So what did they serve? What was the bottle? What was the name of the bottle? Do you know?
Shit, I don't know.
It was the effing vodka bottle by 50 Cent.
Okay.
So he's promoting that. So when they had the Snapchat, I pulled it out, showed the label, undid the cap, and then just put it in her mouth. But they didn't get the first part. But I was like, we got to do it again. I told her, before the end of the night,
promo video for a company you ain't getting paid for?
Exactly, man. No, because then she's gonna put on Instagram hashtag this, and like everybody's gonna be like, this is the effing girl. See, now
I
the
don't want my girl
hashtag
to be the effing girl.
This is the effing girl.
Oh god,
the effing girl. Who's the effing girl? Oh my god, who's the effing girl? Hey, I'm the effing girl. We're gonna be at Prohibition in Riverside tonight. We have this flavor of effing.
Yeah,
Come
I'm
down.
trying to breed a housewife. You over here trying to breed a hoe? What's wrong with you, bro?
Hey, hoes make money. Hoes dig,
but they don't get husbands. So hey,
well, I don't know. Last thing we'll talk about too is. You always wear this USC Trojan hat. Tell us about college football because the first this whole month and playoffs and stuff like that with NFL, a lot of people don't know about college. Like they're either your college side, no football side, or they're in the NFL. They're rooting for the NFL. Yeah. So tell us, why is college so intriguing? Why should I be a part of tailgating? Why should I choose a team and have spirit? Tell us about it.
I first got into college football when my dad, around I think 2002, when Carson Palmer was USC's quarterback. So I was a little boy, and he loved USC. He started taking me to USC games since I was about 11 or 12, and we've gone to games every year ever since. There's never been a year we didn't go to a game, and I think with college games there's a disparity in talent still. So in the NFL, everybody's pretty damn the best in the whole world at what they do. So the games aren't as exciting. So when you watch Floyd Mayweather box, unless you're a boxing fanatic, it's a boring fight. But for people who understand football like intelligently or boxing intelligently, they understand it's a whole match of, there's dire, how Joe Rogan puts it, it's a mental match with dire consequences. You know what I mean? So with physical dire consequences. So basically, if either of them slips up, there's consequences. They might get knocked out.
Game,
yeah. So when it comes to NFL, it's kind of like, it's not as fun for me. It's just kind of like when you watch these younger guys play, they have something to prove. There's a lot more excitement. You get cats like Reggie Bush who are busting moves, breaking records, doing insane things that they can do because there's a talent disparity. You know what I mean? There's 1-star athletes, there's 5-star athletes. And when they all go into the college, it's like, okay, we're all good players. We're the best in America still, but there's still major disparities in talent. And it's fun. It's more exciting. There's more touchdowns. There's more jukes. There's more hard hits. There's more all these different things. It's just much more exciting. The culture, the environment. You go tailgating to a game, you have students that are binging on alcohol. You have, hot chicks that are just like in the USC Trojan skirt, and you're like, oh, baby, don't be mad at me. You looked too. Like you have so many different things. You have older people who are there who just graduate, who are alumni. So many different facets. But I feel like when you get to the NFL, it's like a different crowd. It's like these people that they just want their team, and obviously you just want your team to win. But it's like, you're not even open to suggestions from other people. It's a really weird environment where everybody's just secluded to their self. And I've never been to an NFL game. That's just the vibe I get from seeing NFL teams and players. You know what I mean? Like,
I've been to an NFL game, and it was, of course, the Patriots, and they were playing against the Niners. And we had the Niners Stadium because it was nice. We took out a couple tickets, some plane tickets, flew there during the day, returned the same day. I thought it was awesome. Didn't have no luggage, just walk on the plane.
Yeah.
We're all in our gear and stuff. It was exciting. It was expensive, but it was exciting to root for the team. I would say probably college has that more, the chanting, the all, everybody's involved.
Yeah, you see?
It's very rootful. It's like, it's very fun. Just watching the NFL, I'm just looking at how the offense is going. How are they completing the plays? So that was my take on it. I enjoyed it, and I want to go back too, just in good weather.
Well, I want to correct myself. I don't know what the difference is between them all. I just know that I love college football, and a lot of people like college football more, just for the simple fact there's 19 teams in Division I. There's bowl games. There's, everybody is fighting for not only their division title, but for a national championship title, for recruiting, for so many different things that like everything matters. So now that the season's over, USC got their ass handed to them by Ohio State. They couldn't jumpstart themselves to win the game, whatever. Like, okay, there was recruits that were either going to play for Ohio State or USC. They were just waiting to see who won, because that means coaching is better. That means that this person's going to leave or they're going to stay. Sam Darnold might stay because he had a bad ending. You don't want to go to the NFL like that. So now what is the quarterback who wants to go to USC going to do? Oh, shit. If I go to this school now, I'll get immediate playing time as a 5-star recruit. There's a million different things why you want your team to win or lose.
But I think if you're Sam Darnold and you're number one, well, then you're going to Cleveland Browns.
He's not projected as number one anymore.
Okay.
Josh Rosen from UCLA is actually projected number one. And because of his bad game against Ohio State, he's projected to drop a little bit lower. And it's like,
that might be good, though. He might end up on a good team with a good offense.
Well, see, it's a matter of, you're a redshirt sophomore. You're not even a junior yet. Go develop yourself one more year. You had the most turnovers of any USC quarterback in history. You broke the most offensive passing yards, but you also had less touchdowns than you did last year in your very first year. You have a lot to grow and develop. You could easily be one of the greats for USC. You're already on the path if you stay one more year. You just need to iron out your wrinkles. You need to shake off the stress, you know what I mean? All the hype. You need to shake that all off. You're going to have all your receivers back if you stay. You're not going to be reloading. You're going to be, boom. You're going to have everything back to you. You'll have all the chemistry there. So, I mean, if I was him, I would choose to stay just because for development. You don't want to go to
What if he gets hurt, though? That's a lot of the big question. Like, if you're a running back, that's the biggest question you have to ask, man. What if I get an ACL injury and I can't go to the NFL now because no one wants to draft me with an injured player? Now, that's the big thing.
I would say if you can always go to the NFL, make your quick dollar. But if you're expecting long term, you need to develop yourself. I mean, you can't go to the NFL. It's competition. You know, once you're in competition, there is, yeah, you're going to grow, but are you going to get playing time to dissect defenses and to be comfortable with massive monsters coming and attacking you? No, you're just going to have that in practice. There's differences between practice and a game. Practice, you get to make mistakes. Game, there's consequences. And so if you're wanting to be a great and you want development, you need to stay. If you're looking to make $1 and hoping that you still blossom in the NFL when it's actually game time 24/7, because they'll cut your ass. There's like a 70-man roster for college and a 55 for NFL.
I think it's 75 and 57.
75, 57
Yeah.
respectively? Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would be me. Right now, I'm all about myself. I'm about developing that long-term growth. So, like, you know, being more serious with my girl and understanding 2018 is a new year for us and whatnot. And there's, you know, it gets into where do you want to go? Well, I have a lot of self-growth to do before I can take care of you 100%. So that's like, I would love to focus on my own self-growth first. And I hope that, you know, if you're a player for a team of college and you're deciding on whether or not you should go, well, if you're ready to plug and play, I would say go. But if you're wanting to grow, stay another year in college or whatever it is that you choose to do, whether it be a job, whether it choose to be this or that.
Correction, it was 53. 53-man roster.
Well, then it gets into that that what we talked about in the last podcast. If you wait for opportunities to grow and you just take your time, are you getting that valuable experience of just throwing yourself in the fire and going for it?
It's catch-22.
See?
So what about some of your friends that went to your high school, your hometown high school, like went to the NFL and they're out of the NFL now? Is there a reason why they're not on the practice squad for those budding NFL teams that want to choose them?
One of them that I actually am working on a book with for his very own book. I'm developing the book and whatnot. He didn't pass his physical, I want to believe, or his shoulder wasn't healthy enough to sustain any more hits. Like he would pick his shoulder up and I think it would just dislocate. Just because it was something like that. I mean, I don't want to botch his story. You might listen. I'm sorry if I'm botching your story, but he just didn't make it. Another one of my friends that I wrote a part of a book with as well, he just had so many surgeries and he was already on, like, they would pump him with painkillers before every game and very talented, but knee surgeries. I think he had back surgeries and whatnot. And so, like, you know, the university pays for it. They want to have the best team, but now, like, he has a daughter, as you want to be a part of your family, you know, can you sustain any more hits as a man? You know, like, it has nothing to do with you being a man. Can your body take hits? Can your body continue to, you're going to have to brace yourself different. So you might put your head in forward. That's brain damage. You know, you might hit differently to where you actually bring more damage to yourself because you're afraid to hit in the fear of damaging your shoulder, your knee, or re-aggravating your back. And so another friend, he dropped out. I think he just graduated and didn't even try. And so, you know, the NFL is very scary. It's very scary. So I know a lot of people that were in the NFL and now they kind of like, they drop out a lot early. There's a lot of famous running backs, I can't think of their names, or famous players that they go 6 years, they drop out once they get their benefits at like the 5th year. You get full benefits at 10 years. 10 years?
Yeah, 10 years.
I want to say it's 6.
6 years?
I want to say it's 6.
I think you get a pension at 10 years.
I think you okay,
Do you get benefits
but I think
at 6?
Yeah, I think you get benefits at 6. So they'll get it. They're already millionaires. They're smart with their money. They're opening businesses and dropping out because of the mental and the physical effects that it has on your body. Are you checking up the years?
Yeah, I'm trying to be factual. So I'm here. We need an intern to do this. That's where that third mic comes in.
Let's see.
Well, that's the homework for you guys today.
Yeah, you guys can figure that out. But, you know, it's time to wrap this thing up. You know, when it comes to cultural appropriation, you know, I understand everybody's a little bit different, but I look at it as like you might be excluding by not including, obviously. If someone wants to be a part of your culture, your life, it's kind of weird to say you can't do this because I'm doing it. Or because my hair naturally goes this way, or I naturally look like this, you can't do it either. That's kind of like really tribal and saying you hate the other tribe. That's how I view it. It may not be right. It may not be wrong.
And then to sum up the other topic that we're talking about, in the words of Jay-Z, you don't chase them, you replace them. If you're in the club.
So you trying to get me in trouble.
And if you're Wiz Khalifa, you in her face, I let her breathe. So those are two that you can remember. Look up those songs too.
This is how we say it. We're always saying it differently. Saying it differently. If you agree with us, leave some comments. If you don't agree with us, shoot us some hate mail so we can bash you on here and laugh at you for actually hating the player, not hating the game. So as always, thank you for listening. We are out.